Hi everyone. So you'll be seeing a little bit of delay on the stream, around 2 minutes. It's just me sending out some tweets and so on, but the show will be starting in just a few minutes. We'll just leave this running. I'm just sending tweets and letting people know that we're live streaming, the usual stuff, which will take me a couple of moments, and then we'll make a start. So do please enjoy.
This is Markiplier.
Everybody look out!
This is his channel.
Shut up, nurse!
He plays games.
Oh, hell yeah!
So you'll
Lots of
be seeing a little bit of delay on the
Ow!
stream.
Say you, Jimmy!
Around 2
Oh
minutes.
no, I killed him!
This
It's just me sending out some tweets and so on, but the show will be starting in just a few minutes. We'll just leave this running. I'm just sending tweets and letting people know that we're live streaming, the usual stuff, which will take me a couple of moments, and then we'll make a start. So do please enjoy.
is Markiplier.
Everybody look out!
This
Everybody look out!
Apologies about that. The streaming system we use unfortunately can feed back the audio from the test stream. I was just checking to make sure everything was syncing up okay. So you might hear some doubled up audio. Just give me a couple more moments and we're going to make a start. Always the same. So many people to just send pings out to letting know we are live streaming. Lots of Facebook groups and Google Plus people and the like. Does take a few moments. On today's show, once we make a start, I'm going to be taking a look at some Android games live. No, I'm not. We're not doing Android games today. We're doing PlayStation 4 games today. Blimey, can you tell that I have this pattern in my brain around these things? Anyway, yeah, today we're taking a look at PlayStation 4, not Android games. We will be doing a live stream of Android games next week, but today it's all about the PlayStation 4. You may remember last week or 2 weeks ago we did a look at the Xbox One. It was very successful. A couple of hundred of you joined us for that. And what we did is we played games. I talked to you about those games. You suggested what games we should play next, or if there's particular features of the consoles you wanted me to take a look at or answer questions on. And you're welcome to do the same again. In the comments, just let us know your question, suggest games on the PlayStation 4 we should play. We've pretty much got all of them apart from Knack, which, to be honest with you, I traded. It was atrocious. Awful game. So we can cut that one straight out. Knack, horrible, horrible game, and the vast majority of people agree with me. People who don't agree with me, try playing the game a bit longer. It's awful, 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 awful. Anyway, so that's all of my Facebook updates and tweets sent out. Good, good, good. Right, let us get on with the show, shall we? Now, what I just need to do is flick my monitor over. And just make a couple of quick tweaks here, just so I can see the comments coming in, if they do. And just something so I can double check what we're streaming out. Do let me know, by the way, if you see any problems with the frame rate or if the audio's not well mixed. For instance, the game audio's too high and I'm getting drowned out, or if I'm drowning the game audio out, in fact. And if you're just generally not happy with the mix, do let me know. We are seeing a few dropped frames from XSplit today going up into YouTube, so that may have a bit of an impact, but we will see. I'm just switching my monitor over directly to the PlayStation 4, otherwise it's impossible to actually play a game because I'm seeing, a couple of seconds delay in the editing suite. So here we go. All right, so wait for my monitor to switch over. Come on. There we go. Right, I think let's go first for a bit of Resogun, shall we? It's probably one of my favourite games on Android by a long shot, and certainly shows off what the PlayStation 4 is capable of. This is a title that is provided as a free game if you're a PlayStation Plus member, and obviously the main thing with PlayStation 4 now is if you want to be able to play online in the same manner as Xbox Live, you now have to have a PlayStation Plus subscription on PS4, which is a little bit of a downer in some respects. I would certainly have preferred if they carried on with the old way of doing things, but hey, you can't fault Sony too much for attempting to make a little bit of extra money, I suppose. Online services do cost a fair whack. Like I say, do let me know in the comments if there's any particular games you'd like us to check out. If you have any questions, this is Resogun. You'll just hear there the actual controller speaking to me. One of the cool things with the PlayStation 4 is it has a built-in speaker on the controller, and if games decide, or game developers decide to, they can actually use that to relay commands directly to you, as it were. Now that can come into play quite nicely with multiplayer games, in my opinion, where you can give these kind of extra prompts to a particular user, not just rumble it, but throw some auditory beeps or words at them as well, and it works really, really nicely. Now, Resogun, ooh, missed him, ooh, gutted. With games like Resogun, it is a dual stick shooter, so the whole idea is your left stick moves you around and your right stick controls which direction you're going to be firing in. The idea is to save the last of the humans, 10 humans on each level, and they will get thrown from these boxes onto the world stage at various points, and sometimes 2 will get dropped at the same time. Now, to actually trigger them to be dropped, you have to destroy some guys called the Keepers. Now, these Keepers kind of try, well, here they are now. If I let them complete this circuit, then the human just dies. He doesn't get thrown out of the box and I don't get any opportunity. If I'm successful in destroying them, you can see there a pulse comes out. Ooh, wasn't paying attention. A pulse comes out and the human gets dropped, and I can then go and grab him. If the human is left on the world stage for too long, then a UFO, basically a flying saucer, will come down and try and spirit him away. If I don't stop that flying saucer, the flying saucer turns into what can basically be described as a ship-seeking missile, and it will fly around the stage trying to kill you, and it moves very, very quickly. It can certainly catch you out if you aren't paying attention, and suddenly here comes this flying ship burning with flames right at you, and it has quite a high agility score. From what I can tell, it's certainly faster than I am and more agile. Anyway, right, another human. As I say, do let me know in the comments if there's any games you'd like me to check out. We've got a wide variety, and also if there's any problems with the audio as well, if I'm not mixed properly. Unfortunately, the only way I can really tell is with you guys telling me. Now, there's a few people watching on the stream already. Hello and welcome. This is the Androidizen live stream. We tend to take a wide look at a range of different technologies, from Android to games consoles to funny gadgets that people send us from time to time. And today we're taking a look at the PlayStation 4, and all of this is being live streamed to you, by the way. So I'm sat here now, I'm playing this game. Probably my favourite game on the PlayStation 4 so far is Resogun. It's such a challenging game. It's very much skill based, and as you play the game more and more, you get faster and faster at it. You can try paying attention always helps as well, if you ask me. Oops, just lost the audio there for a second. Must not kick HDMI splitter under desk. So hopefully the audio hasn't completely dropped out on me, and you can still hear me, and the game audio as well. Now, one of the things with Resogun is it's all about score multipliers. So if you really want to be successful in this game, you're always trying to beat the high scores. And it's great. I love arcadey style games where high scores are the main achievement, as it were. Certainly when you're trying to beat your friends anyway. So one of the things you have is power-ups, and those are bombs. Those bombs will basically clear the entire world stage of any mobs. Very, very handy in a pinch, but you've got to be careful, because if you're working on a high score multiplier, you can find yourself out of position with the respawns, and that means that your multiplier will disappear. Multipliers stay active for, well, a couple of seconds really. If you stop attacking things, then the multiplier simply vanishes, as I'll show you now. So you get probably 5 seconds at this level, possibly a bit less, maybe only 3. At higher levels it does seem that it wears off even quicker, but maybe that's just me. Like I say, do let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like us to check out. I am going to check in a second that YouTube hasn't stopped showing me comments again. This did happen on the last show. Whoa! Oh, game over. Just give me 1 second whilst I just go and double check that I am actually seeing comments today. YouTube's not playing a trick on me. We'll have another go at that, I think. let's have another go. So like I say, if you're watching on the live stream, do drop in and leave me a comment. Let me know what you want us to play next. We've got a variety of games here. We've got Battlefield, Call of Duty, Killzone, Resogun, Contrast, some other stuff I've forgotten off the top of my head. We haven't got Knack because I traded it in. It was atrocious. Really did not enjoy Knack at all. I found that the game was far too... I mean, you could either call it old school in its difficulty, because the save points are like something out of like a 1995 game, really punishing. So those autosaves are, you know, spent maybe 15 minutes to half an hour through each level, and you know, you only have to fail once and then you have to restart that whole level again. It's really punishing. Certainly from my perspective anyway, I was not enjoying it at all. Maybe we've become a bit mollycoddled, you know, over the last few years with games becoming more and more accessible. But my belief is that when I review a game, I always play it on the default setting. That's the first thing. So whatever the kind of default setting that, you know, the developer offers, as it were, when I first turn the game on and install it, that is exactly the setting that we play through first. Why? Because that is how the majority of people will first play a game. And so it's important that developers well balance their games at these kind of setting levels, difficulty levels, so that, you know, they are accessible to the average user. You know, obviously shooters, I'm very good at shooters, I'm very good at a lot of games, but how well a game plays on its default settings can tell you an awful lot about how much Q&A has been done on a game, and also really how on the ball the developers were. You sometimes suffer from a problem in game development where a game developer and developers will spend hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours even, playing their game. Well, they know the game mechanics, they know how to complete particular sections, and unfortunately that can lead to a certain amount of problems we've seen over the years where games will be optimized really for what the game developer thought was possible for the average user, and unfortunately not actually how well the game will play for those users at all. That can certainly lead to a number of issues where you have a game which is just too damn difficult, or where you suddenly have these sudden steep difficulty moments in a game where, you know, you're ploughing through really easily and everything's going quite well and you think, yeah, this is a brilliant game, and suddenly you hit like a bottleneck in the game where it becomes far too difficult. And it's not as though the developer actually taught you how to solve that particular problem in a game or how to get past that wave of bad guys. You just have to keep playing and playing and playing. And that's not actually good games design. It might seem like good games design, you know, whoops, but it isn't. And that's really what Knack suffered from quite badly. The games design just didn't feel like it had been well tested for a long period of time, which was a bit of a pity in my opinion. So this is Resogun. I'm not doing particularly well, I have to say, in part because I'm actually used to playing the PlayStation 4 on a television set, and obviously at the moment I've got it set my monitor, and instead of being about 6 to 7 foot away from it, I'm about 6 inches away from it. So my peripheral vision, which you do actually need in Resogun just to judge what's going on ahead of you, little tiny bit compromised. Either that or I'm just too busy talking and not spending enough time actually concentrating. As I have said, and I will keep saying, do please let us know in the comments if there's anything you'd like us to take a look at on the PlayStation 4, if you have any questions. Do also let me know if there's any problems with the live stream, if you can't hear the audio clearly or anything like that, and we can make some changes. You might notice just off to one side of the picture is my microphone. For Christmas I did get a new microphone set up, which is so much easier, because before it was actually down here, and you might have noticed I was spending an awful lot of time on the live stream talking like this. Now it's just off to one side, and it does make a big difference. For instance, I can actually now play games reasonably well without having to strain my neck and my eyes at the same time. 6 of you now playing on, watching on the live stream. Hope you're enjoying this gameplay from Resogun. This is a dual stick shooter that is available free of charge if you're a PlayStation Plus member on PlayStation 4. I assure you I am usually much better at this game. My highest score so far across 3 levels, I think it was, or 2 levels, was 10,800 points. Not good enough for the really high scores. Some of the guys out there have got nearly 600 million points. I mean, how do you get 600 million points on this game? But you know, I'm still quite proud of my nearly 11 million score. It was ridiculously hard, but so rewarding. And like I say, the great thing I love about Resogun, let's go for an overdrive. This is a special weapon that each of the ships have. There's 3 different ships, and it allows you to clear through large waves of mobs quite easily, but without having to use a bomb. And as I say, the great thing with this game is because of the high score side of it, you can challenge your friends, you know. One of the first things a friend of mine said to me is, oh, I've got 5 million on Resogun, so my first thing was to beat that score as fast as I possibly could, you know, because it's all about the honour. Can't have somebody else having a higher score than me that I know. But anyway, if you've got Resogun, do let me know what your current high score is, and I'll attempt to beat it. I say attempt, I'll fail miserably, but there you go. Do let me know if there's any problems on the stream at all. Let me know in the comments. It's the only way I can tell, I'm afraid. Oops, boom. Hello to Emax, Boy Joe Boy. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully the stream is okay for you. We've just got to a boss on Resogun. Right, let's see if we can do this. Unfortunately, I should have saved my overdrive for this bit here. Let's just blow that with a bomb. Make life a bit easier for myself. Would really appreciate if someone could let me know who's listening in the comments if the audio is mixed okay, if everything is loud enough, if you can hear me, if I'm not too far away from the microphone, etc. Does, oh, gutted. Is quite important. If I obviously, if you guys can't hear me, then I do need to make some tweaks. I'm actually going to put something else on. Let's play a different game, shall we? Let's have a bit of Shadowfall. This is always good fun. Now the interesting thing is, if I wanted to, I could tap on my share button, which is on the PlayStation 4 controller, and with that I could then start live streaming to Twitch at the same time that I'm doing this stream to YouTube. The problem with Twitch is that they've now got a 2-minute delay, just like YouTube, which is by the by when you kind of think about it. There's delays everywhere. But the issue from my perspective is that they no longer provide an archived record on Twitch, so that I can't then go back and edit my footage later if I want to, you know, download it, edit it, etc. via YouTube. So it's actually easier for me to go via YouTube. And then I can just do some editing on this later on and re-upload if I feel like it. So let's play a little bit of Killzone multiplayer, because multiplayer Killzone, for my mind, is kind of like the best version of COD I have played since, you know, Modern Warfare 3, where they kind of really nailed Call of Duty. Since then, Call of Duty has been on a downhill slide for quite a long time now, culminating with Ghosts, which just feels like a technical, well, failure, really. Awful textures, even on next gen. Great, you've got a new lighting model, a bit of physics going on, but the overall gameplay is so stale now that Call of Duty needs to take 2 years off. It needs to go away, complete engine rebuild, really focus in on what makes Call of Duty fun, and then deliver that. But ultimately this, every single year, us getting another Call of Duty game, all they're doing is just digging a bigger and bigger hole, and eventually that franchise is going to be worthless, in my opinion. Especially when you look at what Battlefield 4 has delivered. Set aside the whole problems with the multiplayer servers, when the game works it's brilliant, and then obviously what Killzone provides as well. And you kind of look at it and you think to yourself, wow, Call of Duty is just a pale, insignificant game, really, you know, compared to the titles that have come out this year, which actually are next gen. So this is Killzone multiplayer. Excuse me. The first thing that's worth noting is that Killzone got rid of XP from their games. So now you don't level up yourself. What you do is you kind of get attainments and achievements and awards kind of for, you know, completing certain objectives. Now that might be killing 50 people, or, you know, assassinating a certain number of people with a scout and so on. Now personally I like the support class, and what you can do, you can go into the loadouts, and all of these guns are available as soon as you start the game. Simple as that. So the most powerful guns for each class are already open. Perfect, so you can just pick what you like to use. Personally, I quite like the Purger. And, oops, let's just save that. And then you can hop into a game, and off you go. So first thing I'm going to do, let's just grab this. So I've got a chain gun. From level 1, multiplayer, as it were, as soon as I turn the game on for multiplayer, I've got a chain gun. And it's beastly. It really is. It is an absolute beast of a weapon. Now, it has well over 500 rounds. Its downside, as it were... Ooh, that guy's got a shield up. The downside is it overheats after around 100 rounds or so. Once it overheats, it has to cool down and you're rather vulnerable. Now, the support class is also quite slow, which does make a difference. And part of this game is really now all about skill. Everyone has various power-ups or abilities, and using them well at the right times can swing games in your favour. So for instance, like the assault class has a personal shield that they can throw out, and then we can all stand behind that shield. It lets our bullets and projectiles through, it doesn't let the enemies. Now, used strategically at choke points, they are incredibly useful. Likewise, I have the ability to throw out a spawn beacon on the support class, or a combat support drone. Now, the support drone is basically a big flying drone with a minigun on it. So if I now lob this out here, let's throw that out there. There's a guy skulking around down there. Drone's up, and it will pick a target and starts firing on it. Now, it doesn't do a huge amount of damage. Let's just heal this guy. I also have a healing drone on the support class as well. Support class really... Ooh, ouch. The support class really is a kind of jack of all trades. It's slow, but it has phenomenal range of weaponry and abilities as well. And together... Whoops, another enemy drone there. Together, the support class, in my opinion, is by far the most well-rounded. You get an awful lot of bang for your buck out of the support class in Killzone. Another one of the really cool weapons on this is like a pulse cannon. Very, very cool for taking out pretty much anything, but only has a couple of rounds, and then you have to kind of reload it. But yeah, devastating. Let's find out what's going on out here. Now, I mean, special mention has to be given really to the quality of the graphics for a multiplayer title. We're used to, in multiplayer games, seeing a drop in texture quality, lighting, and frame rate when we move from the single player to the multiplayer game. We've got used to it because we're all about those frame rates, and we're all about having everything as smooth as possible in multiplayer. Well, Killzone manages something the first, really. It manages to have beautiful graphics. In my opinion, identical to the single-player game. I can see very, very few differences, if any. Very, very hard. You'd be splitting hairs. And you have pretty much the same graphics as the single-player, but you're able to play it in multiplayer, and it makes a huge difference. It really does. It just feels like playing a multiplayer next-gen shooter, like we were kind of promised. I mean, even Battlefield takes some liberties in multiplayer, and fair enough, we've got much, 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 much bigger maps. Oops, he's actually on my side. Team damage is off, by the way. Ooh. You can see how fast the supports Purger, the chain gun, deals out damage. Let's just flip over to the assault class. Have a look there. Assault class, much faster movement. Second fastest movement in the game next to the scouts. Has basically an assault rifle, a variety of assault rifles, should I say. There's, I think, 4 or 5 there. And, it's a very mobile class, as it were. And, pretty much in the middle of the ground. Has reasonable health, has reasonable firepower, and has a nice and interesting selection of power-ups, one of which is a personal combat drone. Quite nice. When you're firing on a target, you've got the combat drone. The drone will fire on the same target as you, or pick another target, and just drop some extra damage on, basically. Obviously, the more DPS you can put onto a target straight away, the better, especially if you're dealing with things like shields in the way as well. Get the shields out of the way quickly, and then you can move on and take down the guys. And the other thing I have here is my personal shield. Drop personal shield up, and I can stand behind this, fire through it, but enemy projectiles can't. Now, this really does come into play beautifully when you're stuck in a pinch point, because together... Got him. Ooh. Taken out by a support drone behind. Whilst you're all in that pinch point, then you get the shields down, and you can kind of try and attrition your way against the enemy, moving forward slowly behind shields, and ultimately score the wins. Now, there's a few different game modes. This is just deathmatch, or I think you call it Warzone. And you've also got things like capture the flag and all the usuals. Let's have a grenade out there. Something just whizzed past my head. What was it? Oh, The frame rate is always pretty stable as well. I've not seen any major dipping or anything like that, which is always a bonus in multiplayer games. You want that frame rate nice and smooth, and even when there's a lot of explosions going on, it's all pretty rock solid. Like I say, when it comes to unlocks in this game, the unlocks you kind of have are there for your scopes basically on your guns, but it's based on the number of kills and not XP or anything like that. There's no XP to unlock a better weapons. All you do is at the end of every match you kind of get some accolades, and those accolades kind of detail the things you've achieved during the game. So it might be killing 25 people with an assault rifle, and those kind of form part of your kind of living progress really. There's nothing here which is about just acquiring, you know, the biggest, best gun in the game. You know, after playing for 100 hours or something, the biggest, best gun in the game is available from hour 0.001 second. So, you know, it's just a case of jump in, have fun, use your skills, learn the maps, learn how all of the various upgrades, not upgrades, but special options your soldier gets, like the drones and the shield, learning how and when to use them, and ultimately being successful. To me, this feels much closer to kind of a e-sport style of game than COD ever really managed. COD was just a little bit too action shootery, and not enough tactics, not enough teamwork, not enough kind of working together on the maps to be successful. With Call of Duty, it's just a case of, well, twitchy, 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 dead. Twitchy, 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 dead. And that's COD. There's just nothing there that makes it good enough for esports, in my opinion. Killzone, on the other hand, a very interesting prospect for esports, in my opinion. It has all of the right qualities that we would come to expect from an esports game, and even Battlefield doesn't quite have the right stuff for esport, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Sony may be on a winner here. Right, I really need to go and find myself something to kill. Where's he just gone? Okay, what we got? We're all kind of hovering around here. You can also see these stationary gun turrets as well. These turrets are actually thrown down by support guys, and they are very, very, very useful. For holding ground. Especially if you're playing in some of the maps where you've got some quite blind corners. Suddenly running around a corner and finding a turret facing you, well, it's curtains. And so locking off certain run routes around the map becomes really important as well. Combine that with shields, the support drones, the turrets and everything else you've got, you end up with a real smorgasbord and a gauntlet to run through if you're going to be successful at this game. Certainly from a team play point of view anyway. I can certainly well see this being a very, very fun esport game over the next few years. One of the things I just love about Killzone Shadowfall is how fluid the multiplayer is. At no point have I felt frustrated like I have with COD, or, you know, sometimes frustrated with Battlefield with the long walking distances and vehicle spawn silliness. In Killzone, it's kind of just fun, fun, fun all the time. Really can't say enough good things about this game, really. Too bloody awesome for words. Oh, did you see that? Well, I think that's a suitable point to jump over to the Scout. So Scout has sniper rifles, also has a small kind of submachine gun available as well. And its key thing really is invisibility. You can go invisible, you pull out your knife, and then you can run around the map. Well, basically assassinating people up close and personal if you feel like it. One interesting thing is your opponent can see you. The other team can see this kind of... There's another guy. Whoa, got him! There's another guy basically cloaking at me, and as you could see there, he was distorting the environment around him, and he kind of looked like a slightly ghostly shape. The other power-up I have is a scanner. Now, if I hold this scanner on, I can scan the environment looking for my opponents, revealing them to all of the people on my team. And the great thing with that is, used tactically, you can use it for nice search and destroys. When you're trying to find everybody, get a scout out, use that in a few locations and start revealing people. The downside to it is, as there's a lot of negatives, for every positive effect you have with a weapon or an item, there's always going to be some kind of negative. Support class is a much slower class, for instance. With the scout, if you press and hold on this for too long, you send out a negative ping, which will actually alert all of your opponents to your location. Oh, sniped again. Or assassinated, should I say. So you've got to use it quite carefully. You've got to pay attention. So I say there's a lot more here that is very tactical, that is very much skill-based. So, you know, if I just, oops, press and hold on this for a second, you can see that ping going out. And as the bar comes up along the bottom, what are you doing? And so people get more updated information about who's around them. Now, team damage is turned off, so I don't actually have to worry about being shot in the back. Get out of there. Let's get up here. We are playing PlayStation 4 Live. Do let me know if there's any particular games you'd like me to check out. We've got pretty much all of them. If you're having any problems with the audio or the video quality, do let me know about that as well, and I can make some tweaks and changes. This is Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer. So we are playing multiplayer and streaming it live to YouTube. How cool is that? And graphically, this is by far the best multiplayer game. You will probably, oops, play this year on, well, you know, 2013 to early 2014. We'll see what the rest of the year brings. Certainly Christmas 2014 should bring some interesting multiplayer games. But at the moment, Killzone is by far the best, the best thought out, the best executed graphically multiplayer shooter there is. There is absolutely no rival to this. It makes Call of Duty look, well, positively out of date beyond belief. We'll be leaving this game in a moment. We'll go and check out something else. It's a guy, an assault guy with his shield up. I'm going to just go invisible now to see if I can sneak my way around here. Hello, cat. Ooh. As you may also be able to... Ooh! Got to watch out for those turrets. Let's leave this now. We'll jump over to another game. Say hello to my cat, by the way. Hello, Tinky. You being an internet star. Let's have a look at a bit of War Thunder. This is quite an interesting title. So do let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to know about the PlayStation 4, if there's any games you'd like me to check out, and be more than happy to. Oh, bit of water. So War Thunder is a free-to-play game. It's originally on PC. I think it's still in beta on PC as well. But the whole idea of this game is to pilot an aircraft in dogfights, really against other planes in the same class. And it kind of starts off in biplane territory. So 2 fixed wings. We'll just have to wait for this to log in. Now, one of the things that I found really amusing with a lot of the free-to-play games that have first been released on PlayStation 4 is they are almost identical to their PC counterparts, including the user interface. And if you look in the top right corner, you will see a mouse cursor. Not that it actually does anything, but it's... Oh yes, actually, yep. If I use the touchpad here, look, I'm actually moving the cursor. I hadn't noticed that before. So there you go. That actually does make it a little bit easier if that's available within the menu. It is. Excellent. That's good. So, I haven't spent too much time on this game yet. That is so much easier to use. Why didn't I think of trying that the last couple of times? But anyway, so what we do is we've got these airplanes. We can upgrade the planes, adding new guns, make them faster, more durable, etc. And then we can take them into a multiplayer game, and we fight against either, well, a combination of ground units and enemy air units. The air units in this game are all human controlled. The ground units currently are computer controlled. Although there is an update for the PC version that's just gone into beta where you can play the ground troops as well, which is kind of cool. Let's just have a look. Alright, Emacs, we'll take a look at Warframe next. It's a really good third-person kind of action shooter combat game. Works really well. Weird story and really weird character design as well. But ignoring that, it's a really good fun game. So let's we'll play a quick bit of Warframe just to show you what this is about, and we'll hop over. Sorry, I mean War Thunder. We'll hop over to Warframe. Why did they have to release 2 games with practically the same name? Anyway, so here we go. You can see that you've got some of the most beautifully detailed environments that certainly I've seen on a game of this kind of style before. The ability to kind of fly through these canyons, etc. It really does add something to the gameplay, especially when you're kind of dogfighting as well. It can make the game quite difficult. The blue names on screen are my colleagues. Well, not my colleagues, they're random people who are playing this game. The red names are the enemies, and they're the people I'm going to be trying to shoot down. You've got basic guns, they do jam, they run out of bullets, and all sorts of horrible stuff, so you've got to use them carefully. The way the flight control works is a little bit different, so it's kind of difficult to describe, but effectively it's like a drag cursor is how I would kind of explain it. So that circle there, that is actually my rudder control, as it were. So where that position goes, the plane will then turn to catch up with it. And you can see that there's a like an attack cross arrows. What am I trying to say? A targeting reticle, that's what I'm saying. A reticle. There's a reticle in the middle, and that represents the actual position of your guns, which always fire forward. So what we have to do, we have to try and turn so that we're both reticles effectively are in the right position. Oh, I got killed. That sucked. So what will happen now is I'm going to crash and I will grab another plane and I'll rejoin the match. So to battle. The reason this might seem like a bit of a strange control system is it's really, in my opinion, more designed for a keyboard and mouse combination. And it works really well with keyboard and mouse because it's quite fast. But on a PS4 controller, it's a little bit funny, to say the least. So this is War Thunder. This is a free-to-play title on PlayStation 4. It's a beautiful game to look at, and as you actually level up the planes, things do become quite a bit better. Certainly the way the planes handle, the agility and so on, and the guns. Early on it can be a bit of a frustrating experience, so do play it for a few hours, get your first plane bought or researched and acquired, rather than just the training ones that you get, and it does become a better game. So that targeting reticle and the way the movement works there is slightly foreign. It's a very strange thing if you're coming onto a PlayStation from using it on the PC. It doesn't quite work as well as on the PC in my opinion. But you can see my guns run out of ammo and then jammed. He's about to crash, I think. No, he's not. You can see there's a dot as well, a circle in front of the enemy plane. That represents where I need to be shooting. And that represents where... Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't know whether that was one of my guys or somebody else, but you can see there my plane's just been torn up a fair bit. And my wings are shot through. I'm probably heading for the dirt. Yeah, I've got somebody on my tail. But my manoeuvrability is all but gone. Yeah, I'm dead. Gutted. So, do let me know if you're having any problems with the audio, if the image quality is having any issues at all. Let's use my last plane. I'll have one more go and then we'll switch to a bit of Warframe, shall we? We've also got Battlefield 4, we've got Call of Duty Ghosts, which big thank you to Basil Hume for lending me that. He was actually going to trade it in, and he lent it to me. And Basil, if you're watching, will you come and collect it, please? You're losing money on that game, hand over fist every day. I only needed it for 24 hours. So Basil Hume, if you're watching the live stream, do come and collect your copy of Call of Duty Ghosts. You're losing money for trading on it. And I know you really, really wanted something to play that wasn't a shooter. Call of Duty Ghosts, it doesn't matter what system you play it on, by the way. If you're playing it on PC, if you're playing it on next gen, if you're playing it on the last gen consoles, it sucks. It just shows itself off to be a really poor game these days. They really do need to do something quite drastic to bring that franchise back to its glory. Unfortunately, graphics-wise, gameplay-wise, it's just feeling very old and tired. Maybe they will still keep shifting millions of copies, but a franchise can't survive unless it's renewed, and ultimately that game is in some serious need of some renewal. Okay, I keep crashing at that. Let's give it up. Let's go for some Warframe. We've also got Blacklight Retribution there as well, which is great fun. Good fun game from the PC I really used to enjoy, and it's just as good on PS4 as well. Although the servers just as laggy on PC. So perhaps they're using the same servers, I'm not sure. I'll have to check whether they're doing cross-platform on that. thank you for Emacs for suggesting we check out Warframe next. We're going to have a look at that now. Please send this stream to your friends as well. You know, hit that like button, hit the share button as well. Share this to Facebook, Google+, Twitter. Let's get plenty of people watching and commenting. Always good fun. Now, just whilst that's loading, I'm just going to take a quick moment to send a couple of tweets out, I think. We might as well. This is live streaming the PlayStation 4 and a large selection of games that we have available as well. Oops. Warframe's done that thing again. Does occasionally fail to load. Let's just get rid of that. Start it again. To load. Yeah, we do seem to be having some problems with Warframe loading today. Well, unfortunately, Emacs, we don't seem to be able to get Warframe to work. Let's just go back in. Maybe it'll start. Not successful. Tinky, you know you can't sit upside down. Gravity, cat. Gravity, it's your enemy. Oh well, let's try some Blacklight then instead. Let's see how we get on there. We'll come back to Warframe. Does take a little while to load. Just quickly need to get back into my live streaming dashboard. There we go. It is an Unreal powered game, and it's probably the most beautiful free-to-play game. I mean, in my opinion, it's slightly better than Warframe for graphics. But it's a, you know, it's a minor thing there. I think they're both using the Unreal Engine, but for my mind, Blacklight, I think it's the use of light. Warframe is a very dark game. Where Blacklight does feel like it's kind of got the nice mix of light and shade going on. So, you know, you have a more beautiful experience, if that's possible, whilst playing. So, with Blacklight, it's a shooter. It's very, very, very similar to Call of Duty. You have basic deathmatch levels. You run around with guns, you kill each other, you upgrade your gear, you unlock new gear, and so on. But probably where Blacklight becomes most interesting is in the CP points, or control points, I think they're known as, CPs that you get during a match. And what you use those for is getting like temporary boosts. So for instance, you could have an ammo upgrade, ammo replenishment, health replenishment, a flamethrower, a missile launcher, or, my personal favourite, the heavy suit. And the idea behind the heavy suit is basically it's a giant suit of armour with a minigun. You're seeing a common theme here. I really like miniguns. So here we are, this is Blacklight. Very, very fast gameplay if you compare it to kind of Killzone. It was, you know, Killzone is quite a slow, ponderous game in some respects. Blacklight has the kind of speed of Call of Duty, but with more health and kind of more fun going on. Again, this is another game which... Oops. I'm also suffering from really bad lag still in Blacklight. One of the main issues I've had with Blacklight is the quality of these servers. They are so laggy, and I don't think I've found a server yet where I haven't encountered some element of rubber banding. But again, is that just the Unreal Engine? You know, in some respects the Unreal Engine has always been known to be a bit of a laggy mess, certainly on its server-side code. So, you know, got him. Ooh, headshot. You have spawn timers, as with most multiplayer deathmatch style games. Pretty much the muchness as it were, but dang, rubber banding. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a server browser, so you can't kind of have a look and find a server that is closest to you with the lowest ping. In theory, it should be matching me to a server with the lowest ping, but invariably it's hoppy, hoppy, hoppy. And you can see, you know, if we contrast this with Killzone we were playing, you know, just 10 minutes ago, nothing's changed on my internet. Killzone, smooth. Perfectly smooth. Blacklight, laggy. So Mimstyle, if you're interested in kind of the quality of the PlayStation 4, my personal opinion, I do have both the PS4 and the Xbox One, as well as a high-performance PC. The PS4 graphics and gameplay, it's so close to what I would describe as, you know, a top-end PC experience, where the Xbox just feels underpowered. Bizarre, but you kind of feel it in Battlefield 4 especially. The quality of kind of gameplay, it's so strange, but I honestly feel like I'm a better gamer on the PlayStation 4 version of Battlefield 4 than I am on the Xbox One. Yet they are identical games, the only difference being that one runs at a higher resolution than the other. PlayStation 4 is, I think, 960, and the Xbox One is 720. To me, the PS4 feels like the smoother experience. And I don't know why, but the frame rate feels better as well in multiplayer. Maybe that is subjective, maybe that's just me, but when I've been speaking to friends, when they've been around here playing on the Xbox One, and you know, vice versa, they have a similar opinion. The PlayStation 4 just feels more fluid. Now, I think a lot of that is down to the GDDR5 RAM that Sony have decided to use, and I think a slightly higher clock rate on the CPU as well. Obviously, Microsoft are doing things slightly differently. They have their own ERAM, or ESRAM, I think it is, to act as a buffer. And they also are offloading the physics to the cloud. They're both approaching things slightly differently, but in my opinion, if this kind of trend continues with the PlayStation 4 generally having higher resolution graphics, you know, than the Xbox One. Say if it's always a very similar thing that, you know, a PlayStation 4 game will run at 960 and a Xbox One game will run at 720, then, you know, the PlayStation 4 is going to be the better system. It's as simple as that. Not only that, but it's cheaper as well. You know, it's nearly, well, it is £100 cheaper for the PlayStation 4. You've got free-to-play games at launch, so it has a bigger sort of catalogue of games straight away. And overall, it's just better, you know. I had an Xbox, well, I've got an Xbox One, as you know from the previous live streams and the reviews we've been doing. I have PlayStation 4, and putting them head to head, time and time again, I find that PlayStation 4 is the better system. And it almost pains me to say that, you know, because I really like the Xbox 360. You know, it was a very, very competent games console, and to see Microsoft effectively throw away everything they achieved with the 360 from what can only be described as a design by committee approach to building a console, because what we've ended up with is a console on the Xbox One which is twice the size of the PlayStation 4 physically, yet it's running the same hardware, a built-in Kinect camera system, or bundled-in Kinect camera system, which is pointless, is worthless, because there's so few games that actually support it at launch, and it doesn't work properly. The voice commands don't work. It's as simple as that. Time and time again, you find yourself screaming at the Xbox, Xbox, watch TV, Xbox, shut down, Xbox, go to Netflix, and it ignores you. It just, you know, it doesn't care that you want to do something. And in nearly every case, you're actually faster navigating using the controller. If there was an award for most pointless piece of hardware bundled with an overpriced games console, Kinect would get that award. Because let's face it, guys, these games consoles are actually quite expensive. You know, £400 and £500 a pop for what they're actually offering, which is just a PC. You're getting a PC, and you're paying a rather high engineering tax for it at this point. You know, this is standard PC hardware running in a box. You know, which is why I think probably, as a few of us have been commenting, SteamOS looks like it may very well be a winner in 2014. Because, you know, if you're going to buy a games console, you might as well buy one that's spec'd exactly as you want it. And then, you know, run your games on your living room TV, which is what a games console is at the end of the day. And what PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One delivered this time around is a standard spec PC with a couple of little tweaks going on, either, you know, physics offloading to the cloud or, you know, GDDR5 memory. But at its heart, both games consoles are just PCs, and that's why the graphical leap hasn't been as big this time, because ultimately all that's happened is the games consoles have come up to the same level as PCs, just using PC graphics cards, graphics GPUs at the end of the day. When we were looking at the previous generation, we were dealing with a cell processor, and we were dealing with PowerPC technology, and that is a different architecture. Certainly if you're going to design games or something like that. And also obviously the GPUs they were using in there as well, which again I believe both came from AMD. They were both ATI parts, slightly different ones though, and I think Sony's was a custom built job. Along with IBM, they built it together, and so Microsoft I think just took an off-the-shelf ATI part for theirs. I want to say it was a Radeon 670 part, but I might be wrong. This time round we're both using the Jaguar cores from AMD ATI, and both are using very, very similar technology for their main boards. The main difference is that we've got a GDDR5 memory part in the PlayStation 4, and we've got GDDR3 in the, or just DDR3 in fact I think it is, in the Xbox One. But the Xbox One has an additional kind of co-memory, you could call it, by using some very, very fast ESX RAM, or ES RAM I think it is, might not be ESX, and that does give it a slight advantage when it's moving textures around, I believe, and swapping things in and out. There's one of those heavy suits from Blacklight. So you kind of find yourself looking at both consoles and saying, well, they're both very similar, but both have plus points in one direction and negative points in another. The main thing for me though is, well, what are the games like? How fun are the games to play? And so far, I would say the best driving game, if you're looking for a great driving game, then it needs to be Forza 5 on Xbox One. If you're looking for some good family titles, actually, there's quite a few on the Xbox One as well. But if you're a hardcore gamer, it's probably the PlayStation 4 all the way. And I can't even remember what the question I was asked was now. It probably wasn't even a question. I've probably just gone on some crazy rant about next-gen consoles. But, you know, it's all good fun. So that's Blacklight time, shall we? It's had a few moments off. Well, unfortunately, Max, we don't seem to be able to get Warframe to work. Let's just go back in. Do let me know in the comments if you have any comments. Or suggestions if you're having any problems with the stream or anything like that. I can only make tweaks if you let me know there's a problem. Do please let me know your comments. There's quite a few of you watching on the live stream now. If you have any questions about the PlayStation 4, about PlayStation 4 games, about hardware, about price, spec, anything like that, do let me know. Also, one thing to note, or one thing I should ask, is please do subscribe. If you aren't a subscriber to Androidizen, please do subscribe. We cover a wide range of technology here, and there's new uploads every single day. Later on today will be our review of Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer, and we've also taken a look at Ratchet & Clank on Android, which is a really fun little on-rails endless runner. Really good fun, actually. So, like I say, please let me know your comments. It only takes a second to drop me a comment, and you'll be enriching everybody watching with your thoughts, or by sparking off a new set of conversations we can go through, or things I can waffle about anyway. Hey, here we go. It's actually working this time. Stay hydrated. Always important. This does take a couple of moments usually to check for updates and actually make a start. Always good to see Digital Extreme's logo up on screen. Here we go, here's some Warframe. I'll be broadcasting for another sort of 10-15 minutes or so, probably. So now's your last chance, as it were, to get your comments and thoughts in. Let us know what you'd like to know about the PlayStation 4, if anything. And Warframe is refusing to load again. Oh, there we go. Hey, at last. Here we go, some Warframe. Right. Every day you get a login reward, which is usually a weapon of some sort, usually equipped. Now, the story has a loose thing about retaking the galaxy, and we start off at Mercury, and we have to work our way through a series of missions. Now, the way it works is it's a multiplayer game, so I think it's up to 3 other players, 4 in total, can join you. And all we can do is we're just waiting for some other players, and then we'll all vote on which mission we're going to do, which will hopefully be the next one in sequence. Here we go, loading now. And what will happen is Smosh Guy 27. Congratulations, you're being live streamed on YouTube. So once this is loaded, we'll jump in and play. Now it's a third-person game, and the idea is kind of gun and blade. So you have guns and you have a blade, and there are 3 different classes, and each class has a slightly different weapon loadout, special powers, and so on, and different abilities. Oh, excuse me. Oh. It does take a heck of a long time sometimes to load. Almost makes me wish I was playing it on a PC. I'll go wait for someone else now. I'm fairly sure Smosh Guy is the host for this, and then the rest of us are connecting to him, so we'll have to just wait for him to sync in, as well as the other players. Like I say, do please send this live stream to your friends. Throw it out on Twitter, Google+, and Facebook. More people we have watching, the better. Oh dear, it looks like, hang on a second guys, it would appear something's gone wrong with the capture system. Oh dear, what's caused that? Hang on, give me one moment, I'm just going to have to turn my microphone off and rummage under the desk. I get a funny feeling the signal from the PlayStation 4 has been lost because it was on the same screen for too long. Okay, give me 1 second. Here we go, rummaging. Danger money for doing this. Bang me head. Loose cable. So, apologies about that. Hopefully that gave you a quick comedy moment. It's not every day that a live streamer has to go crawling under his desk to try and, oops, fall down a ruddy great big hole apparently. Okay, so you can hear, what you can actually hear there is coming from the controller itself. So there's a speaker there, and that is talking to me. So you've got the in-game audio, and then you have the kind of narrator talking to you, giving you instructions, and that comes through your actual controller, which is really kind of cool. I need to actually catch up with everyone here. You can do really cool power slides as well.
You've been seen. Ready your weapon.
Doesn't look like we can get through that. Where have they gone? This way. Because it's a game that features kind of 3 other players, you can sometimes find yourself getting just a little bit left behind and trying to work out where everybody's gone. Where have they gone? One of the weird things with this game is the character design, which is just strange in my opinion. It's not like any kind of character design you would normally experience in a game. Quite grotesque, is probably how I would put some of the mobs. And obviously our own kind of our player characters are these, well, Warframes basically, or Tennos I think as the game likes to call them. Either that or that's my name and I'm just completely confused, but I'm pretty sure they're called Tennos. It would be nice to have way more mobs on a level though. Hopefully it does get more challenging over time. You can see the mob design is weird, really kind of freaky to look at. And really you're supposed to use a combination of gun and blade. So at range, obviously cut them down with the guns. When they get in close to you, rip them apart with the blades. You get drops and so on. It's a bit sort of MMO-ish. You get weapon drops and upgrades and all sorts of stuff, as well as XP. It is a free-to-play title, so there are in-app purchases and all that going on. But you know, you can quite happily play through the game with your friends, and you won't ever need to go near the actual store. But you know, if you do, there's some quite cool stuff in there. Again, graphically, a really excellent game. Using the Unreal Engine. Occasionally laggy, but not too bad. The frame rate at times has suffered though on some missions, I have to say.
Access to another terminal.
So give me my next instruction. Not going up there, I don't think. Thanks, Emacs. Should come under attack now, I think. Hello? Oh yeah.
Taking longer than I calculated. Continue to defend.
So the only thing I found with this game is that other players can end up tearing ahead of you and you sort of end up just wandering around a bit on your own. But graphically, it's a very smooth game. Ooh, there we go. And really good looking. It's not quite as good looking as Blacklight though, even though they're using the same engine. For me, this game just feels so dark and dingy. But that may very well be part of, you know, the opening levels, as it were. But it would be nice to have something that was a little bit more colourful. I'm just going to hack these guys up. Let me hack you up.
Terminal spotted. Uproot me and prepare to defend. I'm in, Tenno.
Not even sure what killed me then, actually.
Watch yourself. Foot soldiers are on the way.
Because I now have to wait for another player to come and res me, which is a bit of a shame. Right. That was handy. Trying to work out if I'm supposed to do something with this terminal.
Taking longer than I calculated. Continue to defend.
Let's go. Level up. Hooray.
Data logs indicate that there is an Orkin artifact somewhere here. Get to it now, defend it, and then we can leave. Terminal hacked. Keep moving. Doors are all locked. Time to break in.
So I mean, the whole gameplay of Warframe is it's just nicely done. It does remind me quite a bit of kind of it's just gone straight out of my head. Gears of War. Not just because it's a third-person shooter, but just because of kind of the way the gunplay works is very similar. Where are they? Knocked down. Well, I think that's a good point to leave this live stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you're not already a subscriber to Androidizen, please do subscribe. We do these live shows every couple of weeks or so, as well as daily uploads of all the very latest technology, games, hardware, you name it, basically, we cover it. So, like I say, do please subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much for watching.